Hello, just had the first morning session, not that there was another one, and overran by about 40 minutes and then lots of conversations. Very, very good. It was shifting when everything is shifting, a space to explore what it means to live in a time of extraordinary change and how this is reflected in our own journeys. While this is a retreat at a Christian site, and while people attending it will have had largely Christian backgrounds, it isn't necessarily a Christian retreat in itself, but Christian thought and thinking and mechanisms inform the activities and reflections. And so obviously the Bible will come up. I haven't properly picked up a Bible in a very long time. There was a time in my life I would be reading, I kid you not, about 24 chapters a day, 12 in the morning, 12 in the evening. Very, very intense way of sort of validating my self-worth before what I saw as God's eyes by ingesting so much scripture. Anyway, the Bible was used for this morning, and Jesus's words about the temple. Look around and see all these stones stacked on top of each other, like the magnificent, beautiful Jewish temple. And Jesus would have been saying this about in the 20s, maybe early 30s AD. And Jesus said about these stones, one day there will not be one stone left one on top of another. And 30, 40 years before the Romans put down the Jewish revolt, Jesus knew, and others knew, there would have been those tensions present in society, and that informed Jesus's reflection and putting that statement out. And we've been thinking this morning about the tensions in the world today, and how that affects us, things that we see have collapsed, what has changed, like with reference to how first century life at the eastern end of the Mediterranean, and I guess around all the Mediterranean, collapsed with the Roman conquering of Israel. What ideas of change are coming in? The references to Jesus's metaphors in the parables, like yeast, of the seed, things that come in and change slowly, but eventually make a very deep, profound change, for good or for worse. And so we were thinking about that. And we also looked at the Magnificat, Mary's prayer, and about how the high have been brought down, how things have changed. And again, often when we think of scripture, we kind of think, ooh, it's scripture, it's not kind of relevant. But David Benjamin Blower did a fantastic job of contextualizing the scriptures and putting them to the group, and us talking about and reflecting on things we saw changing around us in the world, in ourselves, things that we see emerging that are largely good. Good stuff. The retreat is 14 people, 4 women, 10 men, and there's a lot of openness and vulnerability going on, which is really cool. And in that dialogue, it's a catalyst for other people saying things which are helpful to you. So yeah, it's been a good morning. More this afternoon. Lunch coming up very soon. I'm going to have a little nap after lunch, because I think the afternoon session will have more contemplative practices going on, and I think I risk falling asleep. So a bit rambly this one. I might tighten up the edit, and I'm going to put some of these onto YouTube eventually. But anyway, if you've watched this far, thank you. I assume that you are interested in the retreat and meaningful spiritual discussion. Cheers.